Hi there, I'm Chris Devine, and this is Six String World. There are tons of great guitar pedals to choose from out there. And if you can't find the one you're looking for, well, keep searching, because I'm betting there's one for every taste and every style, especially when it comes to overdrives and distortions. Some pedals do kind of go into mythical or legendary status, though. Sometimes it's between limited availability or the actual cost of the product. The Klon Centaur is probably the best example. At 4 figures, it's quite expensive, but it started off a cottage industry of clones, and there are tons of pedals that do the Klon thing that are easily available, from the Wampler Tumnus to the Electro-Harmonic Soul Food, and there's a ton more in between those ranges as well. Now, if you like this channel, please hit the subscribe button. The bell icon will also let you know when I put up a new video. And if you like this video, please give it the thumbs up button. If you want to share it, well, there's a button for that as well. But back to what we really like and what we really give thumbs up for: pedals. But not just expensive pedals like the Klon. Fulltone's OCD pedal became very popular and had many versions that fit pretty much every particular pedal fiend. It's still available at about $131 or so, but the Joyo Ultimate Drive is pretty much of a clone of it at $35. And that's the pedal that I used on the intro clip in the beginning of this video. Now, for pedal aficionados like me that are on a budget, items like the Marshall Governor pedal was a pedal I was looking for, and it was kind of out of the reach of my budget. I had a buddy in high school that had a 50-watt Marshall head, and because he didn't want to haul around a head or a cabinet, he went out and bought a Governor to run into a PV 1x12 combo. And I was very lucky to be able to play his 50-watt Marshall in the same room as he ran his Governor into his PV 1x12 rig, and it really nailed the Marshall's tone perfectly, and the combo rig fit in his car a lot better. Now, even back in the day, those Marshall Governor pedals were still a bit pricier than a Rat or a Boss pedal, and I kept the Governor in the back of my mind that if I found one used, I'd try to scoop it up. And these were so popular that even though they didn't really have a long production run, as far as I'm aware of, players tended to hold on to them. And the ones that did show up, in the used market, they commanded a high price. Now, a couple of years ago, I saw a video on JHS's pedal show, and they threw out the idea that the BBE Crusher is a clone of the Governor. So I did a little Google research on my own, and it kind of makes sense. However, after that video went live, the prices of the BBE Crusher went up quite a bit. And right now they've come back down, but they still hover at about $100 a piece, which that's kind of reasonable. I was about to pull the trigger on one, and around the same time I was revamping my pedal board, and I was buying a Boss MS3 switching system. It also happens to have effects on board. And one of the effects that does happen to have are overdrives. And the MS3 has a version of the Governor built into it. And it can really nail that higher gain Marshall tone with the additional EQ and solo functionality of the MS3 switching system. It's a lot more adaptable, which means I don't need to go pedal hunting, and I don't have to give up a loop for my Boss's MS3 switcher, which is really great. Now, speaking of JHS, they also came out with a pedal that does most of the popular type of Rat pedal circuits. It's called the Pack Rat. And it's kind of like the Rat version of their bonsai pedal, which is basically all the tube screamer designs that you could possibly ever want in variants. Well, they're in that one as well. So they've kind of covered all the options and all the clones for TS9 as well as the Rat. So that makes sense. I can get that. Now, when you get into stuff like this, especially when you get to the JHS pedals, these options for the originals are starting to creep up price-wise. I mean, yeah, you get all the options, but sometimes the option is overkill, and it kind of brings me back to going to a more faithful recreation. And I mentioned Joyo's Ultimate Drive. Well, Joyo just came out with an Analog Man King of Tone clone called the King of Kings. Now, Analog Man makes great stuff, and the King of Tone comes in at around $260. It's not that expensive when it comes to boutique pedals, but its popularity has generated a waiting list that's quite long. And that sometimes for players is kind of a buzzkill, especially when it's just a pedal. You're wondering why, but that's what it's done. It's a boutique pedal. It's made by hand. It's in small numbers. It's well done, and people want it. So line up. If you're going to go for an option, though, well, Joyo has released this King of Tone, and it comes in at about $100. That's okay. That's a great price for a pedal like that. However, this cost of $100 and the fact that a lot of people have realized it's a King of Tone copy or clone, now this pedal is now out of stock and is now a holy grail light quest to get one of these pedals. So the big thing is, how crazy is it when the clones are almost unobtainable as the originals or cost more than a used original? I mean, where do you go after that? Clones of clones of clones? Or copies of copies? Or, well, where does it end? And I'd love to know your thoughts of this whole cloning pedal thing, about how they kind of sometimes overtake the original. And maybe is there something to it I'm missing? Because it's very difficult to kind of navigate when you're looking for something very specific, and yet it may be something else out there, but when you find that alternative, it's just almost as unavailable as the original. So what do you do? Let me know in the area below with your thoughts and comments on this. How about your favorite clone pedal? Did you choose it over original, and why did you choose it over original? I'd love to hear from you guys on this. I've been trying to navigate the justification for clones versus the originals, or clones of clones versus the originals, or clones of clones of clones of the originals. So anyways, leave a comment, and maybe if you can decipher some of this, because it really goes down a rabbit hole. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.